Alien Romulus has already been released, and the movie is being praised among fans. Many are placing it as one of the best in the Alien saga. But how good is it really? Doesn't it have any flaws? We'll find out. Today on Charlietales, we'll review the good and the bad of Alien Romulus. As always, I'll warn you that this video contains spoilers, so you've been warned. Ready? Let's go! My first positive point is the connection with the Alien universe. Alien Romulus tells the story of Rain, a young woman who, along with her brother and other friends, ends up on a spaceship surrounded by xenomorphs. Now together they must survive the deadliest creatures in the universe. At first glance it might seem that Romulus is a standalone story in the saga, but that's not the case. Alien Romulus constantly connects with all the Alien movies, from the oldest to the most modern, and it does so brilliantly. For example, we have the appearance of Rook, a robot or synthetic that has the likeness of actor Ian Holm, who played the robot Ash in the first movie in 1979. Rook is not the same robot, but rather one from the same design line. That's why he has the same appearance, and also works for the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. This new robot takes on a role similar to that of Ash in the first Alien film. He's close to being an antagonist, without fully becoming one. This was an intelligent way to bring back the android, without ruining the franchise's canon. Reviving Ash would have been a grave mistake, since he died definitively in his movie. To some extent, Alien Romulus feels like a remake of Alien from 1979. It has a very similar plot, the aesthetics are identical, and Romulus creates a horror atmosphere just like Ridley Scott did so many years ago. In that sense, Alien Romulus differs significantly from the Prometheus films, as the latter didn't handle the same style as the original saga. In them, Ridley Scott wanted to innovate the franchise. However, that doesn't stop Romulus from having important connections with Prometheus. For example, we see the appearance of the black liquid, or at least a variant of it. We're talking about the black liquid we saw in both Prometheus and Alien Covenant. Rook tells us that this discovery is the deadliest pathogen in the galaxy, and of course, Alien Covenant already showed us what it's capable of. Alien Romulus knows the strengths of the franchise, and brings them back without hesitation. We wanted brutality. There it is. We wanted a space war against the xenomorphs. There it is. The classic plots with the synthetics. They're there. Everything is there. Alien Romulus connects in both story and style with the original saga. In that sense, there's nothing to criticize. Any fan of the Alien saga cannot leave disappointed. Furthermore, the movie is filled with references and fan service for the most dedicated fans. There's a scene where Rain wields a weapon while wearing light clothing, which is a reference to Ripley from the first movie. The only difference is that in Ripley's iconic scene, she was in her underwear. But the reference is clear. Another example of fan service appears when Rook talks about his creation, the Prometheus 5 substance. Here, the music from the 2012 movie Prometheus plays. The most dedicated fans of the saga likely noticed all these details easily. So I hope to make a video soon with all the references from the movie. I thought this would be the typical movie set in the universe of the franchise, but not connected to anything to avoid touching the canon. But it's quite the opposite. Alien Romulus embraces the canon of all the movies, and, without committing too much, connects perfectly with the rest of the franchise. Now let's move on to my second positive point, the essence of the Alien saga. Fans of the franchise know that the first Alien movie combined several genres. It wasn't just horror, it also had science fiction, drama, suspense, and action. A whole mix of genres that was innovative at the time. Fede Alvarez, the director of Alien Romulus, had a complicated task in recreating these genres in the current era, with a saga that has already had many movies and variants of many styles. Despite that, the director does an efficient job and managed to make Alien Romulus identical in style to the early films of the Alien saga. When we think of science fiction, Romulus perfectly recreates the space atmosphere typical of 80s cinema. There are synthetic robots with discs on their heads, planets destroyed by corporations, rather crude and even somewhat ugly spaceships. It's that dirty, imperfect science fiction of old movies. When we talk about action, I can easily mention the scene where Rain shredded the xenomorphs in zero gravity. It's a pretty epic scene in its own way. When we think of drama, I can mention the story between Rain and Andy, who had conflicts about the value of synthetics. The movie cleverly showed us how Andy faced his own limitations as a robot, and we also saw how Rain learned to value her brother much more, despite him only being considered a machine. It was an interesting way to work with the synthetics. When it comes to horror, Fede Alvarez had a complicated job. When Ridley Scott released his movie in 1979, the horror was more effective because no one knew the xenomorph monster. The fear of the unknown was essential to achieve his goals. In this case, Fede Alvarez couldn't apply the same strategy because we all already know the xenomorphs and have them very present in our minds. That's why the director chose to handle the xenomorphs with an atmosphere of tension and pursuit. Instead of hiding the xenomorphs, he preferred to show them subtly, in an oppressive way, so that they cause stress among the victims. It's something similar to the Alien Isolation video game. In Romulus, the protagonists felt cornered at all times. It wasn't horror per se, but tension and pursuit. But of course, there were moments of horror, very specific but effective. I think we can all agree that the most terrifying moment was when the human xenomorph hybrid appeared. This scene was brutal. There were no jump scares, no loud music. The creature just appeared silently in the shadows. This moment seriously caught me off guard. The scene was so well directed. Here, the director did a spectacular job of creating a convincing horror atmosphere. Let's remember that he already has experience in this genre, having worked on movies like Evil Dead, 2013, and Don't Breathe, 2016. This experience shows. Ultimately, Fede Alvarez understood what the Alien saga means, and he didn't just limit himself to copying the formula, but knew how to adapt it so that the xenomorphs work with these new generations. But now let's move on to the bad side of the movie. It's hard to choose something negative, but in this case, I'll go with the bad CGI in certain scenes. The movie has very little to criticize, but there are very specific moments where the special effects falter a bit. The CGI of the robot Rook is quite imperfect, even close to being bad. It's understandable because they had to do a deep fake of actor Ian Holm, who passed away in 2020, but the result didn't turn out well. It's too obvious that it's fake, and it's a shame because 90% of the movie has top-notch effects. In fact, most of the monsters were created with practical effects that look luxurious. So the CGI in certain scenes is the only thing that detracts from the quality of the movie. They could have easily avoided this by using another robot that wasn't Ian Holm, but apparently Fede Alvarez wanted to make a reference to Alien from 1979, so they preferred imperfect CGI over missing the chance to make a reference. I'm surprised that a deepfake turned out so poorly when there are movies and even series with smaller budgets that have used this technique in recent years with better results. Honestly, I'm being a bit harsh in criticizing this part, but it's the only thing I could find negative about the movie. The rest is pretty solid. Seriously, if I'm criticizing the CGI of one scene, it's because the movie is really good. In conclusion, Alien Romulus is a gem of a movie. It respects the Alien saga a lot, and will surely connect perfectly with both fans of the franchise and casual audiences. Of course, I recommend it. But anyway, that's all for today. If you liked the video, you would help me a lot by leaving a like. That would be legendary. Also remember to subscribe because I'll be uploading more videos about your favorite movies. Thanks for listening. My name is Charlie, and I'll see you in the future.